Hey, welcome back to Make Sense of Math. I am Michelle and I am happy you are here today. So to start today's video, I want to tell you about an activity I did like a year ago, I believe. I have like an email list of people that I emailed to talk to them about strategies for teaching middle school math and tips and resources and freebies. Anyways, so I emailed them and I said, will you let me know what your biggest what your biggest struggle with teaching math is? And I got hundreds of responses. And as I read through them, I saw a common theme. Let me just read a couple of these. Engagement, getting my students to care about learning, student apathy, motivating students to do quality work, keeping students engaged, student buy-in, getting students to stay engaged, student engagement, students being confident in their skills, keeping students engaged, student accountability, dealing with students who don't care, students who don't make the effort, engagement and perseverance, student engagement and motivation, keeping all students engaged, motivation, student engagement, student apathy, student apathy, student engagement, engagement, apathy. Anyways, that's not even all of them. I could go on. And there were lots of other responses, but I felt like that was a common theme that I saw throughout the responses. So I wanted to address that. And as I was thinking about how I could help them, I kind of came up with like an idea that I want to share with you today. So first of all, let's talk about what do I call this? I think a good term that I use, and I think others use this too, is called math anxiety. When students are nervous about or they stress out, it could be like physical symptoms, it could be emotional symptoms, how they respond to math class or just math in general. What this looks like, when I taught a lot, it was a lot of apathy, especially in middle school math. And I talked to my director about this, and she, because I had a couple students who would come to class and literally just put their heads on their desk. And I thought, like, how can I help them? I talked to my director about this, and she said, well, what the real problem is that students don't want to fail. Especially in middle school, image is such a big thing for students that they'd rather show that they don't care than trying and failing. Like, students don't want that, And so after that, I had some trainings in the summer, and I got some pretty good ideas about how I can help students who show apathy, who just sit there in class and don't do a lot, who aren't engaged. And hopefully you can relate to me that I'm not the only teacher that went through this. But one of the ideas that I got from another teacher was to not allow the word easy to be used in class. Because you will always have those students that will just get it. They are quick to understand. They have a really good math foundation. It maybe is a little easy to them. But if they are constantly saying, oh, this is so easy, I get this is so easy, then, or even as a teacher, if I say, oh, today's concepts is easy, let's just run through it. The students that don't understand it or who are struggling to understand it, maybe because they are missing some math foundation, are going to feel, for lack of a better word, are going to feel dumb because it's not easy to them. And so you don't want to get off the image that something is easy. And this is something that I actually teach in my class. The first week, when I was teaching, the very first week, I spent a lot about creating a math culture in my classroom where students feel comfortable to make mistakes, where we are all learning. And I tell them from day one, I say, we do not use the word easy in my classroom. And it takes a couple of correcting the first couple weeks of when students use it, but they'll get the hang of it. And we talk about how mistakes help us grow, how we can learn from our mistakes, and we do a lot of error analysis with mistakes in the classroom. And this is something I drill, and not on the very first week of teaching of school, and I also revisit it the new year. So in January, when we go back to school, I will revisit it for two reasons. One, because it's the middle of the year and they can use a good refresher. And two, because it's a good time. Students generally come back to school motivated to do better at school. It's like one of their goals or whatever. And so it's a good time to reach that and capitalize on their already kind of motivation going on. And so we drill it again going back to school in January about how mistakes help us grow. Anyways, so back to this survey that I took from teachers about what their biggest struggle in math is. I wanted something like I could give them to help them. So this is the math success cycle, right? Basically, you can start anywhere. It will lead you to success. So let me just start right here. And this first one says positive self-talk about math. That is so important. You can only do so much as a teacher, right? I feel like sometimes, and even I did this, I put so much like guilt on myself because of the apathy of students, wherein I do have a like influence on it, but it's not all my fault, especially because they are coming from years and years of math, if they're in, middle school or beyond. And a lot, they had a lot of experiences with math before they got to your classroom. And so they, could have had a lot of negative experiences, which has affected their view of math. So I try to like limit my guilt that I feel. I still feel like you do so, it's natural as a teacher, but you've got to teach them to think and talk to themselves positive about math. Like, I can do hard things. Mistakes help me grow. I am a math person, okay? And just all these positive self-taught math sayings. In fact, I had posters of them up in my classroom, and I would like repeat them, and I hope that the students looked at them and gave them ideas of things that they could say to themselves to talk positive to themselves about math. Okay, the next one is math confidence. So positive self-talk about math leads to math confidence. Once they start speaking to themselves positively about math, they're going to start to believe what they're saying, and they're going to have confidence in their abilities to do math. That will lead to math grit, not giving up when something is hard in math, working and working at it. If they have confidence that they can do it, they will keep trying. That doesn't mean they're not going to make mistakes. It means that when they do make mistakes, they learn from them and they keep going. And they really need that math grit. And that will lead to math success. Math grit will lead to math success, which will lead to positive self-talk about math. And it's this constant cycle. This is a poster that I gave to my email list, and I think it's a great thing to hang up into your classroom. You can print it even. There's instruction if you want to print it bigger. This is just a 8.5 by 11, but you can print it like on 4 pieces of paper and tape them together, or even, go to local print shop and have it enlarged to hang on. But I would really suggest that you drill this into your classroom, like teach this. Take time to teach it. It will help in the long run. Another thing that helps, I think, is engaging activities. Again, I don't like to put all the guilt on the teacher because it's not your fault that they're apathetic. They have, like I said, they have a lot of math experiences in the past, but do engaging activities help? Absolutely. Coloring. I know coloring can seem a little bit like novice at this point in middle school, but it's something that can keep them engaged. And I wouldn't do it every single day, but maybe a Friday when you are practicing fluency of problems, to have coloring activities, or getting them moving around the classroom with stations, working in partners, just in different, activities. So that's what I want to talk to you about math anxiety is, one, don't take all the blame on yourself. This comes from like years and years of math experiences from the student. Two, it's so common in middle school because they don't want to give the image that they're failing. But if you create a math culture in your classroom of, one, don't use the easy word, and two, this is a place where we support each other. This is a place where we celebrate mistakes. This is a place where we have math grit. We talk positive about math, and you teach that culture and you encourage that culture and you drill it again in like the middle of the year. You will start to notice a change in your students. And three, engaging activities. So those are a couple things. This poster, if you want it, I will put down the link in my description where you can go download it. It's free. This is something I really want you to have and put in your classroom. So thanks for joining. See you next time.